Social Studies, Grade 8, November-December Benchmark Test, Part 2. Use the chart above to answer questions 25 through 30. Number 25. People arrested for crimes do not have the right to A. Know the accusations against them. B. Destroy police evidence. C. Talk with the defense lawyer. D. Remain silent when questioned. Number 26. A warrant issued by a judge is needed to A. Search a person's home. B. Call a witness in a trial. C. Post bail after an arrest. D. Hire a defense lawyer. Number 27. A person who has been indicted by a grand jury has the right to all of the following except A. A jury trial. B. A speedy trial. C. An all-woman jury. D. A defense lawyer. Number 28. If found innocent at trial, a person may not be A. Tried again for the same crime. B. Arrested for any other crime. C. Asked to serve on a jury. D. Forced to pay lawyer fees. Number 29. During trial, a person accused of a crime has the right to A. Pick the members of the jury. B. Hear and question all witnesses. C. Demand to be tried in secret. D. Stop a witness from testifying. Question 30. A person found guilty of a crime is protected from A. Double jeopardy. B. Illegal searches. C. Self-incrimination. D. Excessive fines. (31, 32, and 33). Please read each question and answers below. For each question, there is one response that is the best answer, even though other choices will have some correct information. Remember, you are to choose the best response. Question 31. Contrast the opinions of the North and South on the issue of counting slaves for the purposes of taxation and representation. A. States in the North wanted to count slaves for the purposes of both taxation and representation. States in the South were opposed to this because they did not want their slaves represented as part of the population, since they were considered property. B. States in the North wanted to count slaves for the purposes of taxation, but not representation, since Southern states only recognized slaves as property instead of citizens. Southern states wanted to count their slaves for representation so they would have more representatives in Congress, but not for taxation. C. States in the South wanted to count slaves for the purposes of taxation, but not representation, since Northern states only recognized slaves as property instead of citizens. Northern states wanted to count their slaves for representation so they would have more representatives in Congress, but not for taxation. D. Both Northern and Southern states agreed on how to count slaves for the purposes of taxation and representation, since both were committed to making the new country to work and get the Constitution ratified. Question 32. Identify two problems faced by the new republic under the Articles of Confederation. A. Under the Articles of Confederation, the federal government had too much power. For example, Congress overtaxed each state so that states could not repay their debts. In addition, Congress drafted almost every male citizen 18 and over into the Army. Therefore, these young men were unable to work on their family farms, causing widespread debt for their families. B. Under the Articles of Confederation, the president had too much power and would make laws for the states that were unfair. Also, the Supreme Court would always solve problems between the states, making it impossible for states to make decisions on their own and print their own money. C. Under the Articles of Confederation, the government did not have enough power to do anything. For example, the president did not have any check or balance over Congress. As a result, the president only had the power to declare war. Also, the Articles of Confederation did not give the federal government the authority to settle disputes between states, causing the states conflict with their own citizens and between other states. D. Under the Articles of Confederation, the federal government did not have enough power to operate as an effective government. For example, Congress could not draft an army, so the country was always vulnerable to outside attacks from foreign enemies. In addition, the national government could not tax the citizens or the states, so the government had little money to operate. Question 33. List 4 purposes of the U.S. Constitution as expressed in the preamble. A. 4 purposes of the U.S. Constitution as expressed in the preamble are to provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, establish justice, and ensure domestic tranquility. B. For purposes of the U.S. Constitution as expressed in the preamble are, we the people, make sure that no one branch of government gets too powerful, secure the blessings of liberty, and promote the general welfare. C. For purposes of the U.S. Constitution as expressed in the preamble are to have 3 branches of government, a Bill of Rights, checks and balances, and an amendment process. D. All answers above provide 4 specific purposes of the Constitution as found in the preamble.